Bashim Yahshua Barakatham, Yahweh Shamar, Alatham Bashim Yahshua, priest and officer of 5,000 Yadai. This is the Thursday night history class, titled class. MLK's dream was a nightmare. Let me explain something to every Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman out there. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream was a nightmare for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. I'm going to explain to you why. I'll tell you why. Well, we have to understand, integration was the worst thing that could have ever happened to our people. The worst thing. Because right now, Oscar Walk, what do our people say that is common theme? Black people got to stick together. We don't know how to stick together. Why is that? Why is that? Because we had leaders that came in and told us that we had to integrate and join these other nations, in particular the oppressor. There was a time where we had our own businesses, our own, you know what I mean? The economy was so much better. Like, let me explain something to you. We had Black Wall Streets. We had our own cities. You know what I mean? Our own, you know what I mean, thriving communities. Like, you had Rosewood. You had, you know, the Black Wall Street down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had a Black Wall Street in North Carolina. We had many cities, man, where we were thriving. In particular, you know what I mean, in Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, us and Native Indian brothers and sisters, we lived in prosperity. It was cool. And look what happened. Look what happened. The oppressor's action should show us why we should never want to integrate with them. We're going to go into that too. First, let me get Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. Let me get Leviticus 20 and 26. Let me tell you something. We're doing it right now. We are doing it right now. But the point is, right, we have to separate. We have to. The problem, you know what I mean, what our people face right now is a crab in the barrel mentality. To where every brother has been taught that your fellow brother that lives in your neighborhood is your enemy, is your op. And he's not your op. He's not your enemy. The one that taught you that is the actual enemy. Like, we had deep problems, Astawak, and we're going to address them. Because a lot of these problems we did not have, you know what I mean, in the 60s, you know, in the 50s and the 60s and early 40s. This was orchestrated by the oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Like, you got a book. What's the name of that book where they talk? The Negro Project, right? The Negro Project, where they came in, you know what I mean? They came into our communities and saw, you know what I mean, that we were not, listen, it was at a time, right? In the 40s and 50s and 60s and early 70s, that the Black household was the number one household. We were number one in our parents being together, marriages and kids graduating from school, going to college. And the oppressor saw that and said, oh no, we can't have that. Then they started to introduce things. You had Margaret Sanger and them she-devils that came in and introduced, you know what I mean, those clinics in all of our communities. Planned Parenthood, you know what I mean, introducing, you know what I mean, the welfare system to where if you wanted to get on public assistance and welfare, who can't be in the house? That Black man can't be in the house. That brother can't be in the house. So you remove the brother, you remove the strong brother, and now the oppressor becomes your dad. That's the problem. And that's why we have to separate. And that's in the Bible. And I'm going to show it to you. Read.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 26.
Go ahead.
It said that ye shall be a holy people unto me.
And you shall be a holy people. You shall be holy unto me. The word holy means to be separate. We're in Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. The Bible says you should be holy, separate. Keep going.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
And I, the Lord, am holy, because the Lord is separate. The Lord is holy, man. The Most High ain't with everybody. You know what I mean? This Bible is called the Holy Bible because it's not for everyone. It's for the children of Israel. It's for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians because we are the Jews of antiquity. The Lord is telling us, ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy. Read. And have severed you from other people. Meaning this, if I sever my arm from my body, it's no longer attached. It's no longer attached. And our God said that he severed us from other people. So why should we want to integrate? Why? Wasn't Martin Luther King a reverend? Wasn't he an esteemed reverend? Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Yes, he was. And guess what? He had no idea that was in the Bible. I'm going to show you a few scriptures on that, by the way, tonight. A few. And here's the thing. Knowing that we're separate. When the Bible says that you should be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy. Meaning the Most High God of Israel is separate. and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. That ye should be mine. Because we belong to the Most High. We don't belong to these heathens. We belong to the Lord. And our God severed us from other people, and for good reason. And here's the thing, right? Let me tell you something that probably went over your head. If you look in our communities, right now, I'm from Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia in particular. Now, guess what? If you go into any one of our, everything's what?
Yeah, we saw somebody coming to class, but he got paper for it.
Con, no sweat. You check the WhatsApp? Listen. And the thing is, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, you check the WhatsApp? They bars all had a message for you. Now, this is what we got to realize, and which is so sad, right? And which is just so sad. Our God told us that we should be holy, we should be separate, and he severed us from other people. God, Martin Luther King wanted to integrate us with these heathens, and he even said out of his own mouth, one of the last things Martin said was that he feared that he's integrating his people into a burning house. Boy, was he right, because this is a burning house. Oh, he started to change up the tune late in the twilight of his life, Isupk. Realized he made a grave mistake. Now, when you look at our neighborhoods, man, I'm from Southwest Philly, and there is, guess what? There is that Chinese store on every corner. They come in our neighborhoods, man, and make tens of thousands of dollars. Let me ask y'all this. Can me and Isupk go to Chinatown and start a business and thrive? No, we can't. We can't go to Chinatown and open up a chicken joint. We can't go to Bollywood, you know what I mean, to open up a soul food spot. We're not going to get patronized. Could you imagine if we went down to South Philly, went down to Little Italy, and tried to open a pizzeria? They weren't going to let us do that. Go ahead, Oz.
It just came out that the banks still to this day not giving black people loans. So we can't even get the
They
loans.
sure ain't.
And on top of redlining, where they wouldn't let you move in certain neighborhoods. So it's like, what are we even talking about? We integrated, and now we don't have nothing. At least before, we was free to do what we wanted to do in that area until it got too prosperous.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
You made a good point. It got too prosperous. Because you got to remember something. And this is the history class, and I'll break something down for you. Are you aware that when America had their Great Depression, you know who wasn't going through a Great Depression? We weren't. We were okay. We were too wild. You go back, right? Around that time when the Great Depression happened, we were all right in our cities. We was thriving. They got jealous. They got angry. And what did they do? They carried them and burned our cities down to the ground. Burned Tulsa, Oklahoma down to the ground. Rosewood, you know what I mean? Our Black Wall Street in North Carolina. They did that. They did that. And they still do it. They still oppress us to this day. To this day. That's why it's important to understand that we have to separate from these people. Because our God, give me 1 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 85. 1 Ezra 8 and 85. Y'all got any questions too? I'll be answering your questions tonight. Any questions online, I will be answering them. Let me, 1 Ezra 8 and 85. All right, Esau, let me see what you're talking about. Here's the thing. We do that, and this is not a religion. This is our way of life. The Bible is our culture. Bible holds, you know what I mean, our identity, our culture, our laws, statutes, and commandments. And because of this, and the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, guess what? I'm not that man that I used to be. The man that you would not want to come across in the street. A man that you would have not had the heart to say that to in my presence in living color. I'm just letting you know, Esau. I'm just saying. He all right. You ain't even got to address it. Because here's the thing when it comes to them. Saying, I'm doing that and teach you. We are teaching our youth. The Bible says to train a child upright in the way that he should not depart. And we've been doing that. And it starts with us separating from you. Because religion has destroyed our people. Allah, Christianity, Islam, or whatever, you know what I mean, religion that our people are in today, it has destroyed us, man. Destroyed us. Hey, shalom, boy. It destroyed our people. And we ain't supposed to be in Christianity or Islam. And tonight we're going into that. We're going into one, you know what I mean, one big old Christian that everybody loves and everybody reveres. I'm pretty sure you love Martin Luther King. You probably think he's a great man, but he was not. He was not. What he did was so detrimental. And I'm going to show it to you. And the Bible speaks about him as well. I'm going to show you that too. You probably didn't know that was there. Go ahead, Ashtawa.
If I could, can I share a clip?
Please. Please. Please do. Please do, Ashtawa. I'd appreciate it. I would appreciate it. Because our people don't understand, man. Talking about the evil. We doing that. The problem is that our youth be looking on that television and looking at all the evil that the oppressor has been putting out there. You know what I mean? That's what's really messing our people up. Go ahead, Ash. I think I've seen this clip before.
Yeah, you did. It's just so on the subject.
It is. It sure is. I'm going to show TikTok too.
I was looking at you were born 20 years before the Civil Rights Act in 1960.
Oh,
So how different did the world look then as opposed to now?
I grew up during American apartheid. I lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They had signs. I knew where I could go, where I couldn't go, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. All those things. You kind of look at life and go, okay. And then when I hear them say it now, make America great again, I go, what are they talking about? Because I remember what they thought making America great again means. Right. It all means who needs to be, subverted or shut up or pushed back or be in charge of.
How did that not harden your heart, though? Like growing up in that era and seeing how white people used to treat us?
Well,
if I could, sir. You see how the question is, how did it not harden your heart? You understand what I'm saying? So we look back at this time period as a time when the racism was so bad that we would have hated living back then. And this is the difference in his response.
Go ahead.
A loving community and people who make you understand that you are a great people and there's a reason that they do this to you.
We missing that right there. Like that's
that is absolutely what Samuel just said was heavy. Listen, it's so heavy for this reason. Oh, we do this on Monday. We do this on Monday on the I.S.U.P.K Philly page. You can go to I.S.U.P.K Philly or I.S.U.P.K Trenton. We go live on Monday, sis. But what Samuel was saying was heavy. We're not taught that right now, that we are a great people. And we're not taught why they do this. Why do you think they put the drugs in our communities? Why? Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they drop the weapons off in our community? Why do you think they promote the type of music that they do to our people and no one else? Why do you think that is? Because they want our people to destroy themselves. That's what they do. That's what they want. And this is what we're missing. That's why they don't want critical race theory to be taught in schools. Right. Like they'll teach our babies about MLK. They'll play the I Have a Dream speech. But they won't play the clip of him saying that he feared that he integrated his people in a burning house. Right. They won't play that clip. They won't show you the wickedness and evil. Why do you think, and which is so sad, right, Ashtawa? Which is so sad. They won't show the other side on who's responsible. Because they used that brother, you know what I mean? The government used that brother. You know what I mean? Gave him a bunch of TikTok. They got a word from MLK. They called him Orgy Mike. Mike was called, well, they probably don't know what I mean when I say Orgy Mike. Martin Luther King's real name is Michael King. His father, Michael King Sr., renamed him and his son after the evangelical Martin Luther, after that oppressor. And Martin had a strong affinity and desire for white women. And he was in a hotel, and we got the article too, watch the walk to read it. He was in a hotel with them white girls and white boys, and he said, call me a nigga tonight. That's your boy, Orgy Mike. That's Martin Luther King. He was a deviant, a lustful deviant who did not give a damn about our people. Go ahead, Ash.
MLK was like Diddy.
MLK was like Diddy. Take that. Salakia. Good night. Keep going. Let's keep going. Keep going.
That they try to keep you back because you are the richest of what the world is. You know, that you offer something that they don't have. You know they can't have it, but they want to control it. So, you know, you listen to those people, you have the right to.
That's biblical. It's a lot.
Teachers, my whole school life was black. I didn't have white teachers like I got to Lawrence. Wow. So I had teachers that taught my mom and her brother and sisters, so they knew what the expectation was in my house. They knew that people expected me to go to college, so they pushed me. You know, they loved me. They spoke to me in glowing terms and told me that I was somebody. Well, the books that we got that had pages torn out, they would tell me where I could get the information that I needed or we got for me. So people nurture. And I mean, even the kids that they knew weren't going to college, that they knew were going into the workforce or going into the service, they guided those people into the places that the teachers cared about because they knew those families and it was a community of black people that took care of it, you know, on both sides of town.
I gotta remember that.
That's what we need. And that's what we're doing here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. That is an amazing thing. He said he didn't have a white teacher until he got to college. Because when he came up, there was a time where we had an abundance of black teachers that actually gave a damn about our babies. Not all our babies are going to go to college, but guess what? They was able to guide them, you know what I mean, into their different professions and trades. You know what I mean? We're not for any brother or sister going into Esau's military at all. We're not for any black or Latino or First Nation man or woman going into the oppressor's military at all. But to guide these brothers in their trades and work with them, you know what I mean, and prep them for college or whatever, you know what I mean, job that they would have. That's what we have to do. And we do that here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General YAHANNA. And think about that time. That's a time where we had real community, where we gave a damn about each other. Now, it's that mentality where everybody's your op, everybody's your enemy. You don't want to do for that next brother. I remember that clip, you know what I mean, of Jay-Z saying, well, you know, I couldn't give my cousin the $1,500 because, you know, you got to go out there and get it. Nigga. Like, what is that to you? What is that to you? What is that to you? That's the mentality that we have. I know everybody was talking about Cat Williams and how Cat's interview was explosive. He went out there and said this about Steve Harvey, said this about said this about this one, said this about that one. And here's the thing. We ain't out here nowhere in defending Steve Harvey at nothing. We don't defend Uncle Tom's, but this is what I will say. We have gotten so low that when you have an issue with a brother, the first thing you want to do is go tell the world. Instead of doing what we're commanded to do by Christ, pulling that brother to the side. Pulling that brother to the side. All because of what? A brother stole your joke? You couldn't pull that brother to the side. First of all, y'all both comedians. Like, that's the joke in itself. It ain't that deep. Like, if a brother offends you, you know what I mean? And in nowhere in shape or form am I telling you, you know what I mean? When I say it ain't that deep, if something is that deep to you where you are offended by something that a brother does to you or sister, guess what? You have to pull them to the side. You have to. It is the brotherly thing to do. It is a commandment. It is what our King commanded us to do. You can't just go out, you know what I mean, and air your grievances out and tell the whole world. Can't do that. Tell the whole earth. No. Pull that brother to the side. Like, we gotten to a point where you love to see the discord and drama between our people. And it's what they promote. It's what they promote. Like, I I'm going to tell you something. I was on Twitter the other day, man. I'm like, why in the hell is Baddies East and Sukiyana trending by the hour into the 100,000s? Sisters, you know what I mean, half dressed, fighting each other, arguing with each other. And it just creates discord. And what I don't understand, I'm coming to you in a second. That's the type of entertainment that they want us to gravitate to. Sisters fighting each other, brothers fighting each other, having that discord, having, you know what I mean, those disagreements. Not saying brothers and sisters can't disagree, but it's a way to do it. It should never be public. In that regard, especially if it's that deep, if you offended, you got to pull them to the side. Your first instinct can't be to put hands on another brother or sister, you know what I mean, for any reason. Your first instinct can't be, you know what I mean, being on that show and making a mockery, you know what I mean, of yourself and your people, because that's really what you're doing. That's really what you're doing. You're painting the image, you know what I mean, that sisters ain't this. That you're supposed to be out here twerking, having the OnlyFans, being a promiscuous woman, when that's not how you're supposed to be, sis. And brother, you're not supposed to be some effeminate brother sitting down on a couch with another brother that call himself Shay Shay. Like, that's suspect to me, I.S.U.P.K. You sitting down with a nigga, he called himself Shay Shay. Salaki. Some of y'all call him uncle. But then again, I understand a lot of y'all uncles, mine too. We all got one of them. And that's an abomination too. Go ahead, I.S.U.P.K.
No, if I could, the loving community part is so heavy. Like, we gotta understand that was the purpose. Us even being in the struggle and dealing with life. That's why they took the jobs out of the community. That's why they separated the man and the woman. That's why they promote the type of education they promote to us. That's why they make sure our family's separated, because that loving community, when you really look at it, that's the key to everything. Because when a child is not loved correctly, they grow up and they begin to go off. When a child don't have both of their biological parents in the house, they're way likely to be worse. Let alone you put drugs in the community. So now I'm in a house where my mom wants drugs, or my dad wants drugs, or whatever selling drugs is going to jail.
Good.
They was able to eliminate the next couple of generations to where growing up, we can all speak to this. Like, if you Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you know, you got a certain eye towards your people that's only towards them, and it's the type of paranoia that you got to. We had to learn that the oppressor was the devil by the speaker. Well, you know that? We thought Esau was Jesus. You understand what I'm saying?
Damn sure
we had
did.
to learn that the
Damn
devil
sure
did
did.
this to us, and that's why we don't like each other.
Damn sure
That's
did.
why you don't manage these fights, because you don't know who the devil is. You think that Esau is Jesus, and you think your people is niggas. That's it. You think your people are slaves, instead of, like you said, we had a loving community. We knew who we were, and that we was, I was taught I was special. That's why everything conditioned me. And that's what we teach in I.S.U.P.K. Like, that's straight out the Bible.
God, what you're saying, I.S.U.P.K, is heavy. What you're saying is heavy, man. What's your name, brother?
James.
Young man, James. Can you, I.S.U.P.K, can you get his brother this Bible real quick? Can you read for me Mark chapter 3 and verse 27, nice and loud?
I got the scripture as well.
See, the Apocrypha right there too, I.S.U.P.K. Yeah, the Apocrypha's right there.
You said Mark?
Yeah, Mark 3 and 27. Can you read that for me, brother? Nice and loud.
27.
Yep, Mark 3 and 27.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
No man can enter into a strong man's house. This goes into what I.S.U.P.K was saying. You can't just come into a strong man's house. You can't. You can't. Could you imagine? You laying next, you in bed with your Eve, your wife. I mean, kids in the other room. You hear something downstairs. You know what I mean? And the intruder don't know you there. Hey, he see you coming down the steps. Oh, he might give up the spirit right then and there. You can't just enter into a strong man's house. Read on.
And spoil his goods.
And spoil his goods. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods. You can't just come up in the brother's crib, you know what I mean, and spoil his goods and take what's his. You can't just do that. Why is Christ saying this? Because what Ash is saying is a heavy point. The oppressor knows this. The oppressor knows that you can't just come up into a strong man's house and spoil his goods. It's something you got to do. Keep reading.
Except he will first
Bind.
Bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Except he will first bind the strong man. Meaning you got to tie that brother up. You got to get rid of that brother. You got to bind the strong man. You got to get the brother out the house. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Because they understand something. When you got that strong brother in the house, you taking away, you know what I mean, the leadership of the house. You taking away the head of the house. Because the head of man is Christ. The head of the woman is man. And the head of Christ is the Most High. Guess what, sis? You got a head, and it's that man. And the oppressor knows that. And Christ understood this better than anyone. Where he said, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man. And then he will spoil his house. So this is what happened. They came into our homes, right? Introduced Planned Parenthood, introduced welfare. Thank you, Martin Luther King. Because after we got integrated, it was easy for the oppressor to come in our communities, you know what I mean, our neighborhoods, and attack us and then get the brothers out the household. Now for that sister to get Section 8, for her to get assistance, for her to get stamps and all the other, you know what I mean, all the other, you know what I mean, things that the government provides, who can't be there? That brother can't be there. He can't be there. He can't. Child support was the biggest one. Y'all get mad at a brother go and get another wife, you know what I mean, or a brother don't get you something for your birthday, but you know what I mean, guess what? You putting him on child support. And child support is wicked as hell. Wicked as hell. It says no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he first bind the strong man. Then he will spoil his house. Well, the strong man's been bound up. Now you wonder why we have so many single parent households. To why the kids like this? Why is this happening? Because it ain't no brothers in the crib. Ain't no strong brothers there. And let me explain something to you sisters out there. You may think you don't need a brother. You may think, oh, because I got my degree. I'm accomplished. I'm this, I'm that. I get it. It's nice. But what happened to the household?
Right.
What happened to the household? Ask yourself this question. Why are you in your late 20s and early 30s, all the degrees, highly educated, you know what I mean, did your thing? Congrats, sis. Why is it that you don't have a husband? Why is it that you're a single mom and you can't keep a brother? Because you were taught that you don't need him.
Right.
Who taught you that? Because that white man, oh, he's the head of his household. Susan is in line. Becky is in line. The kids are in line. Why is it that they tell our women that you don't need that brother? Because the scariest thing to the oppressor is that black man being in that house, that Hispanic man being in that house, that Native Indian man being in that house. And that's something the oppressor has understood since the beginning of time. I'm coming to you in a second, Isupk. What do I mean when I say he understood this from the beginning of time? What do I mean by that? Because when the oppressor was in the garden, when he was that serpent in the garden, he couldn't get Adam. Why did he go to Eve? Where, brother?
She was more easy to manipulate.
I'll accept that. I'll give you that. She was. She was easy to manipulate. And you know how we did it? You could be a god. You don't need that man. You could do bad all by yourself. That sound familiar? Because that's what happened. And Adam was weak for falling for it. Don't get me wrong. Listen, a lot of brothers fall weak to that tale. I get it. But here's the thing. You can't be that. That's why you gotta have your house in order. And guess what? Here in the Israelite school, I.S.U.P.K, that Black, Latino, and First Nation household is in order. We're raising up strong brothers, strong sisters, and strong babies. But that brother, you got to be the head of your household. You got to be strong. Listen, man, I remember it was a video, Isupk, of this young girl. She had to be like 3, twerking. And her father came out the room, popped her, and all the women were like, "Why you do that?" And then even Twitter was like that. He was wrong. He was this. No, he wasn't. He wasn't wrong. I saw another video of a young girl doing the same thing. Her father walked in the room, gave her a look, and the stupid ass mother still trying to egg her on to dance. She looked at her father and was like, no. That's what babies need. That's what our household needs. And guess what? And I understand both sides. I have to drag on the sisters a little bit, but brothers, you got to stop being weak. You got to stop being weak. You got to know how to tell her no. You got to know how to tell her no. And guess what? You can't become an incel neither. What do I mean by an incel? You can't become a he-man woman hater. Because that's what some of y'all are. I go on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Young man, Dan, brothers be on there. I be looking like, who hurt you? I be like, who hurt you? Like, God damn. You know how many women is out here? Listen, man, you go out there and talk to 10 women and 10 of them won't stay. Guess what? Go talk to another 10. Go talk to another 20. Go talk to another 50.
Right.
Just keep talking to them. Hey, listen, there's some good sisters out here. You just got to look. Scripture says out of 1,000 men, you know what I mean? I found one that was right. Out of 1,000 women, I found none. Not saying that you can't find a righteous sister. You got to work hard to find her. You got to work for it. You got to really go out there and really look, because they out here. They out here. And some of y'all sisters put up, you know what I mean, with a lot. I'm not saying that y'all don't. Some of y'all put up, you know what I mean, with insanity. And that's why, brother, you got to get right. That's why, brother, you have to get right. You got to stand strong. Because if we stand strong, guess who is going to naturally fall in line? You want to know why our women are promiscuous? You want to know why they twerk? You want to know why they have the OnlyFans and all the other nonsense? It's because we give it attention. The day we stop looking at that, and the day that we stop looking at them in that capacity, you know what I mean, and shunning it and bringing back shame, oh, those sisters, they'll get together. They'll say, wait a minute. Brothers ain't looking at me while I'm half naked. Brothers ain't looking at me while I'm twerking and doing this other stuff. Who are they looking at? Are they looking at the modern sisters? I guarantee you they're going to be in Macy's and all whatever they shop, and they're going to have modest apparel. It's going to be in stock. It's going to be in season. It's on us. We got to get right. And when we get right, you know what we can do? We can get them right. That's why we correct the brothers and we correct the sisters. And when you get corrected, when you get raised up, now we can go correct our women. Because here's the thing, some sisters don't want to hear it. That's fine. You want to fall in line eventually. I pray you understand. Because it's about to get real outside. And let me tell you something. This was unheard of during MLK's run. Let me tell you why.
That's right.
Sisters was in order in the 60s and early 70s and 50s and 40s. Right behind that brother, where you should be. Behind that brother. Not by my side, not in front of me. Because here's the thing, and that's another thing too. And I'm glad this came up, Ash. Because some brothers think because, she makes this amount of money, that, she's the head of household, that's nonsense. Let me tell y'all a secret. Women don't care how much money you make. That's a lie. That's a lie. You got sisters out here. There's some sisters out here that have all the degrees in the world, that has that corporate job, and she got a man that she go home to that's on the couch right now playing Xbox, sipping a cold one. Talking about, hey, baby, how was the day at the office? And she happy. And she happy. Most High in Christ. Because guess what? Being the head, being a man, providing is not financial. It's not all financial. I pray you understand. Go ahead, Ashton.
I got 2 points. To that point you just said, a lot of these sisters go to school and they man is in and out of jail or he in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he ain't making no money. She's sending him money.
Mm-hmm.
She got a degree. She a nurse or a doctor. She's sending it for cat in jail money. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? But the other thing that you were saying that you're so correct on that I hope everybody's understanding is a man corrects his community. And the things you were saying before, that how you look at the baddies show and you look at it, you know what I'm saying, the way the brothers treat each other, the gangs and all this other stuff. It's like a father would get that out of them when they're a kid, and a man would stop his woman, like, you're not going on TV to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told my rep, I said, you're not allowed to fight. If you look like fighting, then you got me. You're not fighting. I don't care what happened. You're not fighting. I'm not explaining to nobody that something happened to you because you wanted to go outside and fight some straggler. You know what I'm saying? Like you under my protection. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even understand that. And then she's sitting there looking like I'm right, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? In the world, it's like it's normal these days for sisters to be outside fighting each other, or they shoot now. It's a lie. They shoot, they hit each other with the car, all that. It's a lie.
What you're saying, Ash, is so heavy. And they don't realize that's the counsel, the righteous counsel that they need from brothers. Like, what do you look like going out fighting?
Right.
What do you look like? I was dating a sister one time. Matter of fact, I was funny story. I was dating this Levite sister. And she told me she was getting ready to go out with her sister and go, up north to rumble 10 other sisters. And I said, if you go out that door and you do that, it's not going to end well. Do not do it. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. Don't do it. Giving her counsel, give her the game. She's like, no, I'm going. And guess what? She got locked up. She sat for 10 days. When you get that call, you accept the charges? I was like, lie. It's a lie. Lie. Listen, man. And that's what a righteous brother. You're supposed to correct your community. Right. You're supposed to tell them sisters, hey, this ain't what you're supposed to do. And telling brothers more so. Like, yo, this ain't the way to go. You like selling drugs, that ain't cool. This ain't it. Like we go out there, and this is the thing, Ashton, why we go out there and we don't just talk to the sisters and correct them. We correct the brothers. We speak against the drug dealer. We speak against the gun violence that happens in our communities. We speak against all the evil that goes on with our people. But you know who condones it? The church does. The mosque does. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's why, the real blame for all this, it goes back to MLK's dream for equality. Because like you saw what Samuel L. Jackson was breaking down on the Breakfast Club, is that when he was coming up, community was tighter. Community was tighter because we gave a damn about our people. We gave more so a damn back then. We did. And listen, and that's a rare thing in the world. Because let me tell you something, here in the Israelite School of UPK, we're the only ones that give a damn about our people, that are genuine. And I'm not saying you ain't got some genuine brothers and sisters out there, because they are, but you got to get in here. You got to get in here and do what our God said to do. Because MLK, it was a disaster. A disaster. You seeking to have peace with the oppressor, with the devil? I don't think y'all understand, man. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. El hombre blanco es el diablo. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, they got that movie. I don't know if you watched it. I just started. I ain't finished it yet. Called Flowers of the Killer Moon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about some Native American brothers, right? A Native American tribe, and they struck oil on their land. And as soon as that oil shot up in the air, I said the oppressor gonna come and take all that oil. And then I went and looked it up, and that joint based off a true story.
Good.
Sure enough, they start getting murdered after that. It's a lie.
That's what
They start
happens.
getting unalived after that. It's a lie for TikTok.
That's what happens, Ashton. That's what happens. They come and they take that stuff, brother. They take it. You know what they did, Darford? Listen, man, and that's why when I think about it, every time I think about it, on how wrong MLK was, because he was absolutely wrong in his approach and in the aspect. And I'm gonna break it down for you with a few scriptures. Give me 1 Ezra 8 and 85.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8, verse 85.
Go ahead.
Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them.
Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them. Listen, let me tell you something. One of the biggest things we have to understand, when we was coming out of Egypt, our God told us, man, when it comes to them other nations, you should not seek to have peace with them, right? Why? Keep going.
That ye may be strong.
That ye may be strong. Let me tell you why. because these other nations are our enemies. And our God understood, man, and told us we should not seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong. Keep going.
And eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
That's heavy for this reason. The Lord was telling us to eat the good things of, you know what I mean, of the land. Our God gave us laws, statutes, and commandments of what was lawful to eat, what was lawful to do, and that we may leave an inheritance, you know what I mean, of the land unto our children forevermore. To pass this down to our babies. That's why we got to pass this truth down, pass these laws, statutes, and commandments down, pass our culture down. The problem is we have become trusting of our enemies.
That's right.
Trusting. Now give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10. And if I could, young man James, give me Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. But let me get Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10 first, Ashtua. This is the problem. We trust the oppressor. We do. And that's the problem. You're going to trust the same oppressor that burned down Rosewood, burned down Tulsa, Oklahoma. You saw what he did to our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben. Go ahead, Ashtua.
If I could, that's the other heavy part about the movement, is the oppressor and the native brothers and sisters, when they got money, they got fresh, they started buying cars, they started coming up among the oppressor, kicking it with him, and dealing with him, doing business with him and all that. And I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm like, you know what they did to your people. Exactly. You know they violated every treaty. You know that piece of land that you was on, they really gave you that piece of land to keep because they thought the land wasn't valuable. Now that you got this valuable land, you should not see, like y'all, they needed the Bible. You should not seek to have peace with them. And because they allowed them to be so close, it showed the oppressor, okay, they let us be close. And the whole time they was plotting. They trying to marry the women. Plotting. Unallow them being slick, doing this, that, and the third. Like, listen, we need to get in with that money. And our people, that's what we go through every day. You got the talent, you rap, you play basketball, you doing this, that, and the third. You are being used by the oppressor to make him rich. That's really what it is. Really being used. Go ahead. Because we don't have our own leagues and our own stuff, you making millions and he's making billions. That's why he paying you. You see what I'm saying? You're the franchise. We go to the Olympics and it used to be all black people and Kevin Love. Brother. That's it. Brother. It's still like that. Even though brothers ain't going now, what was it? All black people and Joker and Luka? Exactly. Like, come on. Exactly. Gordon Hayward, maybe? I don't know. It's all brothers though. We went in the Olympics for America and we Negroes. Shouldn't we have our own? Listen, man, I'll give brothers this, man. Brothers, most of the brothers, superstars, are starting to stand down from that anyway, and they should. Right. And we're gonna go into that too, Oscar. You jumped the gun a little bit. I'll go right into that because that's another big thing. We don't have our leagues anymore. We don't have a Negro League. We don't have it. We don't have our own basketball leagues, our own football leagues. I was talking to this brother today at the slavery, man. You know what I mean? The brother was like, "Well, you know, they paying Dak Prescott all this money. Why would I continue to pay him?" I said, "Nigga, you ain't paying that brother $80 million. I said, I ain't got $80 million to give. Man, we be having a different conversation. We'd be having a different conversation if we had that type of money. But the problem is, and then, ironically, we was talking about the Cowboys. Jerry Jones. You know what Jerry Jones did? When Jerry Jones was a 15, 16-year-old boy, you know what he did? Well, I ain't gonna say boy. He was a young man. What's that sister name, man, that was trying to go to college, that was trying to go to school down in Arkansas? It's on topic after all. Pull that up. Pull that shit up. Salaki for the language. Oh, yeah, because this was. Yep. In Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957, when they integrated, you know what I mean, that school. Oh, thank you, Martin Luther King. Thank you, Martin Luther King. Now, if I could, what's heavy about this is we just heard Samuel Jackson say what it was like for him to go to school with black people and never having a white teacher his whole life. And then this is what it was like to go to school after the civil rights movement.
God.
And Jerry Jones is, I think he's in the back, in the middle with the structure.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. He was there. They were blocking the doors to not. It says defiant white students at North Little Rock High School blocked the doors of school, denying access to 6 black students enrolled in the Arkansas school on September 9th, 1957. Jerry Jones was one of those students. They didn't want niggas in their school.
Right.
That devil right there is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys today. That's it. That's Jerry Jones. And they saying, oh, he was just there being a spectator. No, he was there to fight.
Right.
He was there to fight. So if you're a brother that play, if you're a Dak Prescott that play, a CeeDee Lamb, that's your owner. That's your slave master.
That's right.
That's what he really feels. And let me tell you something. I look at this picture. And that's one, I.S.U.P.K. You know, me and you look at this picture and we see something different. Something complete. Because I ain't gonna lie, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, I.S.U.P.K. and myself, we throw it off. Well, I think we both would give up our ring fingers to have that amount of devils come up to us with that level of aggression. I think you take that from me. I would relish it. I'd be like, oh, let's get it. It's over. It's a lot. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, this match, this that camp, and they be like, all right, it's go time. We're like, all right. They be like, why you dying smiling? Why I smile? Y'all gonna find out. Y'all gonna find out. And they was ready. Look at it. They got one double got the cigarette in his mouth. He's like, listen, I'm ready. I want y'all niggas going to my school. Thank you, MLK. Because here's the thing. What our people need to understand, we were better off in our own schools. Better off in our own schools, man. Better off going, you know, listen, and what's so heavy about it, right? What's so heavy, what we need to understand about having our own schools, like what Samuel was saying, you'd have black teachers that give a damn about our people, man. You know what I mean? Going to black colleges. Going back, you know what I mean? Bringing back the HBCUs, man. Go to an HBCU. Doing that. The problem is now you want to integrate with the oppressor. I saw an article today. I saw this today. That something was going on in Temple. Hold on. I'm about to pull it up right now. And I said, oh, in 2024? Ooh-wee. Where is it at? Where is it at? Man, I saw this. I said in 2024, thank you, Martin Luther King. Like they opened up some type of investigation at Temple because they was discriminating, you know what I mean, against, you know what I mean, Black and Latino students. I said, man, would you look at this here? Would you look at this here? And it goes to show you, man, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. We're better off with our own schools. We're better off with our own establishments, our own restaurants, our own sports leagues. Because if we had that, guess what? There would be no need. Could you imagine? We wouldn't need an NFL if we had our own league where brothers could play football. I can go on and talk about how the NCAA is. You know what I mean? Or how the combine is. That's modern day slavery right there. Where you go in there, they take your measurements, you go in there naked in your drawers, and they got you running, doing, you know what I mean? It's like you going into the Coliseum. It ain't no different. We're gonna go into the scriptures about that. It's the auction block. It's what you said was heavy. That's what it is. They finna pay for you. You think, oh, because he's making millions of dollars. He's making this. Well, how much is the owner making? Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, if you change the dialogue, when you watch what they doing, and you just have somebody say, "Here goes a Negro."
Phone's on mute, brother.
If you change the dialogue and go, "Here go a Negro," you know what I'm saying? Strong, this amount tall, this, that, and the third. Look in your mouth. He got all his teeth. You see what I'm saying? They measuring your head.
Oh, he can run a 40. He can run a 40. He can run a 40-yard dash in a 4.30. And
you just change the verbiage. It's literally the book $40 million. You a slave, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then you bang your body all up and get hurt. And they're like, well,
you are a $40 million slave. That's all you are. And the good ones get endorsement deals. You know what they don't tell you? They don't tell you that 1% of those athletes even make it. So you got to really think about it. You look at and most of these brothers are talented. There are brothers in the hood right now, in the ghetto. There's a brother right now that's possibly he was better than Michael or LeBron, that he was better than Mahomes. He might not have had the grades. He might not have had the same opportunity that they had, far more talented. You got a lot of brothers, man, not just on the physical side, but on the academic side too. You got a lot of brothers, man, that are geniuses that didn't go to college. You know what I mean? That are geniuses, scientists. You know what I mean? Blacks and Latinos, we made every major invention and minor invention here. You got to ask yourself, the percentage of brothers and sisters that actually make it, it's like 1%. So where do the rest of them brothers fall into? Where do you go? Why do you think they build so many prisons? Why do you think, you know what I mean, they push what they push? Oh, be a rapper. How many rap, and everybody wants to be, that's another thing too. I ain't trying to crush brothers' dreams. I ain't trying to diss nobody. I'm not trying to throw no shade. But how many of you actually make it? Like, what is actually making it in the music world? To be like Jay-Z? Really? That's what you want? You want to be a pawn in the oppressor's game? But that's really what it is. I never understood it anyway. I want to be a superstar rapper. Okay. Do you know the lifestyle that they really live? The deals that they have to sign? Like, I don't think people realize, you know what I mean? They have horrible lives. Sure, they have millions of dollars, and a lot of them are really broke. A lot of them, that's really a front, like you're trying to put up. A lot of them don't make no real money. A lot of them actors, too. Listen, Monique was trying to put brothers and sisters on the game for a while. Look at Taraji Henson, man. Taraji out there cried. Like, they said she did some film with Brad Pitt, but Brad Pitt was making like hundreds of millions of dollars, and she barely made like 30 or 40. I'm like, God damn. Like, it's rough. A lot of them don't really have money. They broken down and heartbroken and going through it, going through all type of depression. You know what I mean? A lot of them got to get pilled up and do whatever. Cardi B ended up having a meltdown, man. I remember when she said she don't want to do this no more. She just want to be a mom. She don't want to, like, you know, that's why she wasn't even wanting her kids to even listen to the join to her and Meg Thee Stallion put out WAP. They get sick and tired of that too. They live horrible lives, man. And that's what you want. That's your idea. That's a fantasy that they pump to our people. That you could be this superstar. You could be LeBron. You could be Michael. You could be, you know what I mean, Quavo. You could be Future. You could be this. When, black man, the greatest thing you can be on this earth is a priest of the Most High. That's right. And not everybody can do that either. Rocket like how YAHANNA. That's the greatest thing you can be. Being a soldier for our King, for our God. Go ahead, Ash.
And if I could too, right? General Hyman made a heavy point when he said that the music industry is not a real industry because so many little people make it. And so little people actually make money off of it. And the reason why that's heavy is because when they destroyed our communities, we were starting to be doctors and lawyers and different things like this.
They didn't want that.
Now, what would have ended up happening is instead of them bringing Asian people over here and bringing the rest of the nations over here, right, and giving them loans and business and stuff like that, we would have been the next class under the oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? But that's a problem because of our spirit of who we are as people. Don't nobody respect their managers black. You look right at them like, I know that. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody, but a lot of us like, I'm not doing that. So if we
what you saying is heavy.
So if we was in charge, like imagine like you got somebody that you look down on, you telling everybody you better than, and then he comes in to work for you, and then he looking at you like you ain't nothing, and you the GM. You see what I'm saying? You the owner, you walk in, you like, I don't care who that is. That's how we act. So just imagine if I'm the manager. Imagine if I'm the person that's in charge. I don't have to hire you, and I don't respect your little game that you playing where just because you were an oppressor and you went to such and such school, you come in here and you incompetent. I'm not putting you over the brothers that's better at the job, which is what they do to us. You will work a job 20 years, master the job, they put somebody in front of you like, you don't know what he's doing. He's not even learning, and he gets paid 3-4 times more than you. And he about to replace you. Like, that's our situation. And we wouldn't be trying so hard to rap and to go bust our head and get a concussion and have to, get your ligaments torn in your knees and do all this. You wouldn't do all of that because the community would be so good. You would just look at your father and go, my father's a lawyer. I'm already plugged in with the lawyer game. I'm just gonna be a lawyer. My mother's a doctor. I'm just gonna be a doctor. Whatever our people was doing around us, we just would pick up on it and thrive within our community to where if we wanted to go play basketball, we can go play basketball, but we wouldn't have to.
We'd have better options.
You come, and you wouldn't you might own hotels. Like it'll just be a thing where your family owns hotels. So
can I add one to you? That's gonna go right on topic. Every Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, you know what industry we should really own? That should be ours. The bus industry. When they had that boycott, when they had that Montgomery boycott, the worst thing we could have done was fold it like, oh, we can't sit in the front. We just not gonna ride the bus. That was amazing. That was amazing that we could say, yeah, fuck your bus. We're not gonna ride your bus anyway. We're gonna carpool. We're gonna open. We're gonna have. We're supposed to open up our own bus company. We're supposed to own the bus company. Like we here in Philly, we should own SEPTA as Black people. We should. That should be ours. It should be like when Commander General YAHANNA broke this down. I said, damn, this is so true. Like when a brother come out of school, it's like, all right, he don't want to go to college. Guess what? He should be able to go right into, the bus industry, the train industry, and get trained up. He should be driving the bus, ride the train, doing maintenance on it. That should be something that we own. Like how East Indians have the Dunkin' Donuts and 7-Eleven game on lock in the subway, or how they have the hotels and how certain, heathen nations have what they have. That's what we should have. We should have that. We should. Why don't we have that? Because we thought, oh man, we integrate. We integrating with the oppressor. All right, now we can sit at the front of the bus. The best thing that we did out of that was showing that, hey, we showed and proved, hey, Shalom, warrior, Lord of Christ. The best thing that we did was show, hey, we don't need to ride your bus. That was amazing. The worst thing was not pushing and following through. Starting our own bus company. No, you good, brother. Go ahead. Starting our own bus companies. Yeah, we should have. That should be an industry that we have on lockdown. You know what the problem was? We put our trust in our enemy, and our God said this. Go ahead, Asha, then read the scripture.
If I could, too, like hair industry, like it's certain things that we shouldn't let nobody else sell us.
Oh my God! Pull the video up of where the hair comes from. Go ahead, brother. Proverbs 3:31. And it ties in. I was just about to show you who run. I brought up how they run. These Indians they got Subway, 7-Eleven, and Dunkin' Donuts. And they got the hair industry. Sisters, that hair that you wearing, guess what? It ain't, you know where your hair come from? Do you know where that hair comes from? Oh, I'm about to break some of y'all hearts. What's up, brother?
I watched the class where you explained everything.
Oh yeah, listen, it's rough, ain't it?
It's disgusting.
Yeah, man.
You talking about from
from
Elon?
Yeah, Elon. Oh my goodness, man! When I saw that, I said, "Get out of here, man! Get out of here!" But that's where it came from. It come from the East Indians, and it come from the gutter. They get that weave and that hair out the gutter, Ashtawa. Like, it's crazy. You paying all that money for the bundles. They getting the hair out the sewers in India. First of all, and I don't want to sound like that, brother. I can only imagine what it smelled like over there. I can only imagine. That smell that they got is diabolical. And you getting the hair from, and they getting it from the sewer. And they selling it to us. Sewer hair that they getting out the drain, they selling to our people. Man, I'm going to show y'all the video in 1 second. That's the problem. No one, we shouldn't, that's an industry that we should have on lockdown. Like they shouldn't, the Asians and the South Asians and the East Indians should not be able to come in our communities and set up these shops and salons and do this. They shouldn't. First of all, they hate our sisters. I don't think y'all understand that. They hate you. You know how many stories we've seen and went over about how they beat the hell out of our sisters in those salons and in them parlors, in them hair stores, and you'd be lined up. I saw a video, man, that sisters dumpster diving, man. I said, God damn, how we have fallen. How we have fallen. You got it, I.S.U.P.K? No sign of Christ. I'm going to play it for you. Please, Cassie. This was rough when I saw it. This was rough. Rough. As a matter of fact, read your scripture first. Come. Read Proverbs 3:31.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. We ain't supposed to envy the oppressor. We ain't supposed to envy these heathens and choose none of their ways. First of all, being a promiscuous harlot, that's the way of the heathens. That's the way of the oppressor. That ain't something that we do. Marilyn Monroe and them made that, popping. They made that, cool to be a promiscuous broad, to be a promiscuous harlot. Our God said, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. We ain't supposed to choose their way. First of all, you want to know why some of y'all can't grow your hair? Because, and that's in the Bible too, I.S.U.P.K. That's in the Bible. All phones on mute, Bible for sure. Listen, a lot of y'all can't grow your hair, and that's biblical. Well, the Lord said he was going to strike that crown of your head, because you got your heart hard, your mind is hard. You got all that anger. And you come up in here, sister, and change your life, your hair will grow back. That's right. I've seen it happen. I've seen sisters come in here with Salaki. They know who they is. And then after a little bit, they start coming in. It'll happen. But let's show it out to us. Show the video. show it to us.
Stay clean and treat this hair, making it look nice and shiny. But the truth is, it's not virgin hair. It's straight from the drains. This is the only reason human hair extensions are still affordable. Otherwise, they would all cost thousands of dollars. It's a hidden secret of the beauty industry, and many don't know about it. What do you think? Knowing that the word. Did you know that most affordable human hair extensions come from drains? In India, workers actually collect hair and public drains and plug holes. It looks shiny. The truth is, it's not virgin hair. It's straight from the drain. This is the only reason human hair extensions are still affordable.
That's where your hair and your bundles is coming from. The sewers and drains in India. That's where it's coming from. And they selling it to you for top dollar. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, I ain't been over there, but I seen somebody over there one time. Like they was on vacation, they was taking pictures and everything. I said, what it smell like over there? And it does affect like rhinoceros water in
giraffe lizard, listen, man, I be joking and saying that should smell like rhinoceros residue and giraffe water. I can only imagine what it smelled like over there. It's rough. It's a rough situation. And that's where you're getting the hair from? How are they able, ask yourself this question, how are they able to go into their drains, get their hair, and then come in our communities and sell it to us? Let me ask you all a question. Could we go into our drains and take our excess hair and sell it to Orientals and sell it to Arabs My God, I.S.U.P.K, they would deem us to be the most wicked people on the planet. But how is it that you have a market in my community to sell us hair that's from your drain? And then you say clean it. People that don't know how to clean themselves, you mean they cleaning that hair? Man. The bar, come on. Like, these are people that don't know how to clean themselves, they cleaning that hair. Go ahead, young man, James Fry.
So, when we were enslaved, wasn't the oppressor using our hair to make like cushions and chairs and stuff like that?
Brother, they did more than that.
I don't know.
They used our skin to make shoes. Pull it up, I.S.U.P.K. They used to use our skin. They used to skin us and make pellets. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what they did. That's what they did. I'm glad you asked that, because it goes on to what the scripture I.S.U.P.K is holding. These are the people you trust. This is who Martin wanted to trust. People that would skin us alive and make pellets out of us. Now I'm supposed to forgive you. Now I'm supposed to let it go and just forget. It was such a long, ain't that what they say, Gabar? Ain't that what they say? It was such a long time ago. They say, we got to move forward. We have to move on. Damn all that. Because first of all, it wasn't that long ago. When you think about it, it wasn't that long ago. Like, I hate that notion. Y'all celebrate the 4th of July every year. Every year. We don't tell you to get over that. And guess what? It's some of you Negroes that celebrate that. You know what we was doing in 1776? We was coming off the auction block, getting abused, unalive, made into pellet, made into shoes. And we supposed to forgive them for that? We supposed to just forget. Y'all can't get over 9/11. Y'all make sure, if you ever notice, right? When something happens to these other nations, they don't forget it. I'll give you another people that's real good for that. I'm gonna be very careful, I.S.U.P.K. The top hat people, the top hats that be popping up out of the sewer systems in New York, down there with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they never let you forget about what happened to them. Oh my God, they'll tell you about what happened. You know what I mean? At Auschwitz, they'll tell you what happened in Poland. They'll tell you about how they went into concentration camps and all that. Oh, and if you speak out against it, you're anti-Semitic, when they're the real anti-Semites. But you can't say nothing about them tunnels and the mattresses. You know, they got stains in the mattresses too, I.S.U.P.K. Right. The stains. Just let that simmer for a second. But not to go too far into that. We'll go into that. We'll go into that too. And guess what? You don't criticize them. You don't say nothing to them. Look at that. Negro skin shoes. They made purses, cigar cases, bookshelves, all that. That's what they did. This is what they did to our people, man. Never forget what they've done to us. Never. And I'll give you another one. Read what you got, I.S.U.P.K.
Scripture.
Come.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10.
12 and 10.
Verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Never trust thy enemy. We are not supposed to trust our enemies. That's what they do to us. Never trust thy enemies. Read.
It says, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
For like as iron rusteth, iron will eventually rust. Well, like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. He's naturally wicked. He can't help it. He wakes up like this. He wakes up like this. He can't help it. He's always been like that. Ask yourself this question. Look at what they went through when you really think about it. Like, this is the side of what our people, and this is what really makes Martin such an evil brother. Like you had brothers, mothers, and wives out there getting water hose soaked on them and dogs biting the private areas and sensitive parts of our bodies. Talking about we got to be nonviolent. And you got that from Gandhi. Ironically, listen, I don't know what it is. Elam catches strays today, Oscar. Why? Elam did a lot to our people too. All these other nations, man. But understand something. What's heavy about it? These people sick dogs on us, hosed us down with water hoses, hung and continues to hang us from trees. And we supposed to forgive. We supposed to forget. The Bible says, never trust thy enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. This is what he does. He can't help it. This is who he is. He's shown us who he is. And we want to integrate with him? Go ahead, Ash.
General Muhammad had a beautiful metaphor on Monday by basically saying that we is dog. You know what I'm saying? Because the dog, the moment you beat that dog will forgive you. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like the dog want to forget and remember the good things. And that's our people in America, man. I remember going out to camp. This is one of my best. This is probably my favorite moment at camp. Is when I went out there and I explained to our people alligator thing. I was there that day.
I remember.
And then I went and read an article where a devil got ate by an alligator, and I had our people outside.
I can tell you why I was shot.
That was beautiful.
That was.
Because that is understanding what it takes for you to actually love your people. If somebody will feed your children to an alligator, when an alligator eats them, you can't go, oh, it's so unfortunate.
Oh, no time
alligator. You got to understand.
That's the Lord's will.
Listen, get an alligator head. And they did.
Listen, that's the Lord's will.
If his house catch on fire, you don't go, oh, master, our house is burning. Our house is on fire. You go, that's what this devil get. I'm sleeping outside in the shack anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Why do I give a damn if your house catch on fire? Your economy crashes. So
listen, what you said was so heavy. Are you aware what they used to do? When our houses would catch fire, and some of y'all remember, when our houses would catch fire and them white firefighters would come, they would sit and let it burn. We did a story, right, 2 Mondays ago with Commander General YAHANNA on his show every Monday, Black Watch, America on Fire, Commander General YAHANNA, every Monday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., about how this old white firefighter was like, man, it's hard to sleep. I can, you know what I mean? I think about, you know what I mean, all those people, all those colored people. He said it like that, all them colored people that we let burn. You could hear their screams that I still hear. And he wasn't trying to get forgiveness. He was just letting it be known. He know what he did was wrong. He ain't care. You know why he's saying it now? Because he's in the twilight and he getting ready to check out. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. No hombre blanco es el diablo. That's right. They watched us burn. The so-called, the top hat people in the 70s burned New York to the ground. Our neighborhoods burned the Bronx down, burned Harlem down, burned Brooklyn down. Because they were our landlords, and they still are landlords to this day. Burned it to the ground. I mean, you can remember this, that in the early 70s, those top hat landlords, you know what I mean, that they lit our neighborhoods on fire and crawled back into their tunnels. Crawled back into their tunnel. Now I see what the tunnel was for. Setting the fire, you get to crawl back in your tunnel. Now it makes sense. It's starting to make sense. But you did that. You burned the Bronx to the ground. All them Black and Latino homes, man, to collect insurance money. They did this in the early 70s. The devil watched us burn. There's a song, man, I was watching the Get Down, man, and it's funny because it's in the music. If you ever heard the song Devil's Gun, like go and listen to the song Devil's Gun. Like they saying fee fi fo fum. I'm looking down the barrel of the devil's gun. What does that mean? Who's the devil? The oppressor. They saying nowhere to run. And then when it gets to the chorus, they're talking about how he's watching us burn. He's watching us burn because they came and lit our neighborhoods up. Not just them, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like if you listen to Charlie Wilson and the Gap Band, you dropped the bomb on me. He's talking about when you dropped the bomb on Tulsa, Oklahoma. You dropped the bomb on Rosewood, man. Burned our cities to the ground. Hell, in 1985 in West Philadelphia on Osage Avenue, they firebombed, you know what I mean, the movement. Firebomb, you know what I mean? They dropped the bomb on black men, women, and babies in West Philadelphia. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man.
Right.
That's what they did to our people. That's what they did. I had some silly Gino. I'm coming to you in a second, Oz. I had some silly Geno Jennings follower going to tell me. He was like, "Well, who called the police on Osage Avenue, brother? Because I was there. Who called the police on them?" I was like, "Niggas like you. Niggas like you. Because you was taught to love your father, and you know who your daddy is, the oppressor." And Christ said in John 8:44, "You know, you of your father, the devil." Well, it's John in the 8th chapter, down onto the 40-something verse. "Well, you of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you would do," because he was a liar from the beginning and an unalive. That's the lust that you do after your father, who is the devil, man. And that's why you can't be like MLK. You can't do what Martin do. You can't. Because that dream failed our people. Drop down to verse 16.
Verse 16.
Come.
An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips.
An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. He's going to talk smooth to you. He's going to talk sweet to you, man. He's going to speak sweetly with his lips. Keep going.
But in his heart.
In his heart, meaning in his mind. Read.
He imagineth how to throw thee into a pit.
But in his mind, in his heart, he's imagining how he can throw you in a pit. Y'all be at them elevator plantations. Y'all call them jobs. We call it a slavery. You go to that job, man. You go to that slavery, and guess what? I don't care if they smiling. I don't care, man. Listen, if they smiling at you, you know what I mean? An extra polite offer to buy your breakfast or lunch. Watch him. Watch her. Because in their mind, they imagine how they can throw you into a pit. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you a story, Oscar Watt. tell y'all a quick story. I remember one time I was at the slavery, right? We in the back, we talking. You know what I mean? Esau came back and was like, the devil came back and was like, "Well, you know, I don't know who's gonna unload this truck, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that." I was like, "Oh sure, boss. Oh sure, master." I started doing the Bojangles. Listen, my brother Rod on TikTok watching. He was there. He was there when I did it. I started doing the Bojangles. I started tap dancing. That devil ain't asked me to do shit for like 2 months. Because the way he came back, when it looked like, in his eyes, it looked like it was Denmark Visa and Nat Turner Planet of Revolution. That's how it looked when you go back there. Man, let me tell you something. And that's him. That's the oppressor. They hate that. They'll speak kindly to you. They'll speak sweetly with their lips, but in their mind, man, they thinking about how they could throw you in that pit, throw you in that ditch. Go ahead, Ash.
And if I could too, it's an enemy speaks sweetly. That's the thing that we gotta remember is devils is all talk. You understand what I'm saying? We sit here and we let Martin Luther King go out there and say, "Judge a man by the content of his character." The content of the oppressor's character is that we should never trust him. You understand what I'm saying?
Go.
You should never trust him. Either he is using you for himself, or he's going to figure out a way to destroy you. The oppressor, what he does, and people, we don't understand this because we're not this type of people. He gets to know you. He want to go see your religion. Back in the day when he came over here to the Americans, he wanted to go to the Mayans and the Aztecs. He wanted to go inside the temple. He wanted to see your God and worship your God. And then he'd leave and go tell his people they got gold in there, and then he'd come back and take it. When he came to the Americas, he came over here and talked about how kind the Native American was. And then he went back to his country and he had good relations when he met the Native. He went back to his country and he said, those people are kind and will be good for slaves, man. They strong and will be good for slaves. You sitting here thinking that the oppressor love you because now.
You know that's in the Bible.
You go to school with?
You know that's in the Bible, Asher. What? Read Judah chapter 5 and verse 20.
You said Judah?
Judah chapter 5 and verse 20. Bar, can you give me Deuteronomy 13 and 1? Book of Deuteronomy 13 and 1. Young man James, hold Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 25. I want to go to what I said first. What I said was biblical. Judah 5 and 20. And let me tell you what's so heavy about that. You know why they was able to come over here and look at our brothers and say, oh, they'll make the perfect slaves. They did recon on the North American Indian, who's the tribe of Gad. They did recon on the Seminole Indian, who's the tribe of Reuben. They did their recon, the reconnaissance on the tribe of Issachar, who are the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, who are Ephraim, the Cubans, who are Manasseh, Argentina, the Chile, who's Naphtali. They did that. The Colombians and the Brazilians, you know what I mean, and Uruguay, who are the tribe of Asher, Guatemala, the Panama, who are Zebulon. They noticed something. And that's in the Bible. Let me Judah chapter 5 and verse 20, Bubba, for sure.
The book of Judah, chapter 5 and 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor.
This is a heathen king. This is a heathen king. And they have an accountant. They said, now, my Lord and governor, read.
If there be any error against this people.
If there be any error in this people. If the children of Israel have any error, if we have one big flaw, it's this. Read.
And they sinned against their God.
And they what?
Sinned against their
If
God.
we sin against our God. 1 John 3 and 4 says, sin is transgression of the law. The law was only given to the children of Israel. Sin is transgression of the law. That if we disobey our God and not keep the commandments, this heathen king is saying, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in these people, and they sin against their God, to show you he's not the God of everybody. These heathens know that. They said if they sin against their God, because he's the Holy One of Israel, the Most High Yahweh is our God, man. Scripture is saying, Deuteronomy 6 and 1, Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh our God. Our God, what I said in Hebrew, is one God, one Lord. Black, Latino, and First Nation, man and woman. He's only our God. It says, if there be any error in these people, and they sin against their God, read.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
That this will be our what?
Ruin.
They said, let us consider that if they sin against their God, that this will be their ruin. It would be disastrous for us. If we sinned against our God, it would be disastrous for us. Why? Because our God won't be with us. He won't be with us. Read.
Come, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Let us go up, and we shall overcome them. They said if they could, listen, and what I.S.U.P.K was breaking down is so heavy. Earlier in the chapter, you read in verse 18 and 19, they talking about it. That if we come back, that if we are serving our God, leave us alone. But if we're not, they say, let us consider it will be their ruin. And then we can go and overcome them. Because they understand something. That when we are serving our God, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, doing what our God had to do, guess what? Our God said, you know what I mean? In Exodus, I'll get it for you. Where the Lord said, you know what I mean, that he would be an enemy unto our enemies. Paraphrasing. Our God said that he would be an enemy unto our enemies if we did what we were supposed to do. That's Exodus chapter 23 and verse 22. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice, if we obey our God and do all I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thy enemies and an adversary unto thy adversaries. If we do what our God said to do, he will be an enemy to our enemies and an adversary to our adversaries. Romans 8 and 31 says, if God be with us, before us, who could be against us? Who can stand up against our God if we're doing what our God said to do? These heathen understand that. That's why they push every evil and wicked vice. That's why they push integration. That's why they had plants like brothers like Martin. You know what I mean? And every other wicked leader that we had, man. Because they want us to go against our God because it would be our ruin. That's right. That it would be our ruin. They know this. They know that. They know that if we come against our God, they got us right where they want us. They got us right where they want us if we are not serving our God. And to answer your question, Brandon T. Johnson was never in the truth. Never in the truth. Understanding you're an Israelite is cool. It's good. It's amazing that you know that you're an Israelite. We've been doing this since 1969 here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General YAHANNA. And why you should not put your faith and trust in any celebrity, because let me tell you something. That money, power, and fame that Esau is providing them, it's a hard thing to let go. The scripture says that not Christ said it'd be hard. Listen, for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven, it'd be got a better chance of a camel going through the eye of a needle. It's going to be hard for a rich man to get into it. It's because they talk a good game don't mean anything. You have to come and show. You got to come and show. And if you a brother out there, man, that's out there knowing you an Israelite, that's cool. But come get down with your brothers, man. Put on that all black. Put them boots on. Come and be a soldier. You know what I mean? Listen, I used to be an individual like too. I used to be a brother on the internet, you know what I mean, by my damn self, not knowing anything. But guess what? You come up in here, man, you're going to understand and experience a brotherhood, a sisterhood that you never felt in the world before, that you never felt outside, because it ain't out there. And I know some of y'all brothers are sincere. I do understand that. But if you really are sincere, if you really want to get down, you put them boots on, you put that all black on, and you'll get to work, because that's what it's about. Like when the Lord said that there should be no discord amongst us, like it shouldn't be, oh, this camp and that camp and this camp and that. It shouldn't be that. It should not be that, because we dealt with this before. Moses had to deal with this. Aaron and Miriam challenged Moses' authority, and God had to check Aaron and Miriam. And how did God do it? Miriam and Aaron tried to come up against Moses, and the Lord had to check them on that. I pray you understand. Listen, same thing happened when they tried to come against Paul. The demon had to tell him, Christ I know, Paul I know these disciples. Who are you? Who are you? You could be known too. You got to come in here, man, and do it. You got to boot up. Go ahead, Ashtawa.
If I could, a lot of people don't understand that the prophets in the Bible, they was all, a lot of times they was together.
Mm-hmm.
They were always together. They knew each other. It wasn't a separate group.
Okay.
This group and that group. Other groups that you hear about in the Bible might just be another group of people, or it might be the people that ended up being unalive and not living because, or they did not written up in the books because they was a separate group. You know what I'm saying? And I believe it was Texas where a lot of the brothers in the school now was in the.
It was.
And the brothers met at the I.S.U.P.K. and they got taught and talked to and corrected. And they took off them shirts and the fringes, got into the truth, and became pillars in the truth. Man. You understand what I'm saying? Them people
It could happen.
made that fake Israelite group in Jesus Christ's time that people, it say leave them alone. Where's they book at in the Bible?
Exactly. And what's so heavy, Ashtawa, there were fake Israelites during the time of Christ.
Right.
When Christ, our king, was walking the earth, you had brothers that didn't get down with him. John the Baptist was not down with Christ. How do you know? He had disciples. I want you to imagine something. That's what brothers, I know a lot of brothers don't understand this. Like when it talks about, when the brothers came up, we're disciples of John. They came up to our king with that. Like, could you imagine that insult? Like, who? The what? And you got to understand something. John saw Christ. He saw the dove descend upon him. You know what I mean? He saw what all the other prophets wished they could see. He saw it with his own eyes and still fell weak and didn't follow Christ. Don't be that brother. Don't be that brother. You can't be. It was discord then. John didn't want to follow Christ. Listen. And what did Christ say? Go ahead, Gabar.
When was this?
Oh, go pull it, Oscar. I'll show it to you. You know what I want?
Which one? You can just post some of it in our.
Yeah, I'm about to get you right now. I want you to go to Mark. I want you to go to a precept when they came to Christ and ask if he was the one where John sent them. I'll break that down for you. Go to Matthew. You know what? Go to Luke. Go to Luke 7. Luke 7 and 18. I think that's what I want.
We start at 17.
Yeah.
The book of Luke, chapter 7 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
And this rumor of him went forth throughout all Judea and throughout all the region round about.
Mm-hmm.
And the disciples of John showed him of all these things. And John, calling unto him two of his disciples, sent them to Jesus, saying, Art thou he that should come, or look we for another? When the men were come
Now,
unto
understand something real quick. It says, and the disciples of John showed him all these things. And John calling unto him two of his disciples and sent them to Jesus. Let me ask everyone something. What did Peter do when he met Christ? What did Peter do? It's fine if you don't know. I'll tell you what Peter did. Peter became a disciple of Christ. John, not the Baptist, the disciple, and his brother James became disciples of Christ. Bartholomew, Matthew, Nathaniel, they became disciples of Christ. Why did John the Baptist not become a disciple of Christ? And he saw Christ. He baptized him. Ooh-wee. And he felt some type of way about that. He was like, who am I to do this to you? Christ was putting away with that. Like, all right, this is done. Because baptism with water don't mean anything. If you dip a sodomite in water, he's going to come up just wet. And they're going to cleanse him of that. It was a time where John baptized everybody in Jerusalem. Everybody in Israel, damn near. You got to ask yourself this question. Why didn't he drop everything and become a disciple of Christ? Why does he still have disciples? And you know who Christ is. You know. He saw the dove descend upon him. He knew who he was. But even back then, you had brothers that didn't want to follow orders. They don't want to say con out of one con. And let me tell you something. Rank and order is all throughout the Bible. It's all throughout it. It's all throughout. It's countless precepts, you know what I mean, in Deuteronomy, where it talks about where he made generals, he made captains, and he made, captains of 10,000, officers, you know what I mean, of 5,000. Like, it's all throughout the Bible. That discord was even then. And for even John to send his disciples to Christ. And what did Christ say? And what did he say? Keep going.
It says, when the men were come unto him, they said, John the Baptist has sent us. I'm on 20.
Mm-hmm.
And in that same hour, he cured many of their infirmities and plagues and of evil spirits. And unto many that were blind, he gave sight.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jesus answering said unto him, Go your way, and tell John what things ye have seen and heard, how that the blind see, and the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, to the poor the gospel is preached. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. And when the messengers of John were departed, he began to speak unto the people concerning John.
Christ checked them righteously, of course, but still checked the hell out of them. Like, you go tell him that the lepers are cleansed, the sick have been healed, the blind see. Let him know that. Why do you think Christ had to put it to him like that? It goes to show you, too, that Christ wasn't all sunshine and rainbows neither. The scriptures say that Christ was an austere man, that Christ was not a brother to mess with, man. He was very serious and stern in everything that he did. Why did he use that tone and check them on that and say, listen, you see what I just did? Who the hell is he? Who are you? Who are you? You're not on his level. You're not. John wasn't on Christ's level. And he knew that. Did John not also say before he met Christ that there would come one greater than I? That I'm not worthy, you know what I mean, to tie his shoes? That's what he said. But why didn't he fall in line? Go ahead.
It sounds like he didn't want to give up his status.
That's what it is. That's all it is. Look what brothers think they have. You think you were somebody. You think, oh, I have this, I have that. And that's why a lot of brothers don't want to come in. Because you know what's going to happen? Take a young fake Israelite group and take their so-called leader and 20 of his men. You know what's going to happen if they come in here? One of those men that were over that guy that was the leader is going to get raised up over him. And he can't have that. He can't have it. Because up here, you think you're somebody. You think because you know a few precepts. You think because, you know what I mean, you watch the I.S.U.P.K. You watch the breakdowns that you know something. You don't. You do not. The scriptures say, you know what I mean, that one needs to be taught again, weaned off milk. You got to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself. Go ahead, Ashtawa.
If I could, too, another reason why people don't want to come into the truth is because they doing some type of wickedness, or they allowing some type of wickedness.
That's the main thing.
They know if they come in here, they're going to have to change. That's why.
Yeah, most of them don't want to change.
Right.
In John's case, John fell weak. You can't fall weak. You can't. Now, I want you to give me the big one. Drop down and listen. And Christ had to check them. He had to let everybody else know what you came to see. He's like, this is how we roll. Now, drop down to verse 28.
Verse 28. For I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist.
Christ said, I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist. Now, you'll probably read that and you think this is a compliment. It's not a compliment. Oh, it's not. It's something far, far worse. Read.
But he that is the least in the kingdom of God is greater than he.
Read that last line again.
But he that is least in the kingdom of God is greater than he.
That's what Christ said. Christ said, for I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom of God. Meaning this, in the kingdom, you could be a brother that can be one of the lowest of lows. You'll still be greater than any other heathen, of course, but you could have low status in the kingdom. Guess what? Christ is saying you're greater than John the Baptist. Why is Christ saying that? Why is Christ saying that? Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, because by itself, it was like John was a good teacher, but for the teaching that was to come, Christ was in charge of that teaching, and he needed to get up under Christ to bring the kingdom of heaven forward. Because what he was teaching was the old way of teaching. So he was a good teacher in the way of respect of what was before, but it's a new covenant, it's a new prophecy, and you didn't get with the new covenant. You didn't get down with the real gospel and the real covenant.
God, Ash, what you're saying is correct. And the precept is when Christ spoke about why don't you pour wine into old bottles, that new wine has to go into new bottles. That's your precept for that. Fake Israelites get that misconstrued. You read that and say, oh, well, those that were born of women, that was John. For I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist. But he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Understand that. Because John did not follow Christ.
Right.
John did not follow Christ. He didn't. He did not. And that's why, if you least in the kingdom, you're greater than John. Why? Because you follow Christ. He didn't. You're better than them. Now, understand something, and which is so important on why, you know what I mean. And I'm glad that we had that segue, Ashtawa, for this reason, because, and I get it, I do understand it. It's three words that are hard, you know what I mean, for some brothers to say, and that's con out of one con. And I'm gonna get to you in a second, Ash. I'm gonna tell you why, you know what I mean. That is, to use the little language is weak. Is weak if it's hard for you to say that. And I'm gonna tell you why. You tell the oppressor, sir, every day. You'll tell that devil, sir, oh, how you doing, sir? How you doing, Phil? You'll do that. Oh, you'll shuck and jive for real. You'll shuck and jive and tap dance for the oppressor. You can't say con on one con. You can't say, sir, to the men of God, the priests and prophets of the Lord. You know who else couldn't say, sir? John. He looked at our king, the greatest man he ever walked the earth, and said, I can't follow you. You're in that spirit. You don't want to be in that spirit. That's the spirit of the Christian church, the Muslim mosque, and every fake Israelite group out there. That is not the spirit you want to be in. You don't. You don't. Well, when Christ said the servant is not greater than his master, he's not. You're not. You got to come in and fall in line. I pray you understand. Go ahead, Ashtawa.
If I could too, even with John the Baptist and what he was doing, and when you compare it to what Christ was doing and the U.P.K versus everybody else, is you notice too that what Christ did, and you see what happened to Christ's disciples, a lot of them got unalive. Christ got unalive. A lot of his disciples got unalive for what they was teaching. The things that we teaching here is what get us the spotlight to be able to. You see what I'm saying? But that's what we're supposed to be teaching. You see what I'm saying? Because Christ said, just know that if they hate you, what? They hated me first. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of Israelite groups will go out there and they'll change it up, be like it was the one cat. I don't know who it was, but he was in the Vegas group, and they was like, yeah, some the guys in New York. Of course, he's talking about us. And he was like, yeah, those are our brothers. You know what I'm saying? And they just, they like this. And they have this type of tone. All of us are not like that. We have this type of tone. So you didn't not came into the truth. You like what he was saying, but you don't want to be a part of it to where you get that type of light. Mm-hmm. So your spirit leads you into this Israelite group. You see what I'm saying? Or to make your own Israelite group. So you don't got to deal with the pressure of actually doing what Christ told us to do and getting in line with the people that the Lord actually set up.
Listen, and what you're saying is so heavy. That's why when I was breaking down earlier about how the 1%, you know what I mean, of brothers, you know what I mean, that we actually become superstar athletes and make it. Listen, man, it's even harder to become a priest of the Lord. It's even harder. Now, we say you come up in there, come to class, learn, pay your tithes. That's too wild. But if you want to be an actual soldier, you got to rock that all black. You got to put that all black on. Let me explain something to you the same way Commander General YAHANNA explained it to me, which resonated. When you come up in here and you put on that all black, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean, strive to be a trooper. And if you're a young trooper striving to be an officer, guess what? You are filling out an application to rule in Christ's kingdom, under Christ. That's what you're doing. You're filling out an application to work for the king. I'm gonna tell you what's terrifying. You might actually get the job. You might get the job. And guess what? And it's going to take time. That's why you got to take that period and come and learn again. Let me get that precept, Buster. Leaned off from milk.
Be taught again, or?
Taught again, yeah. Taught again. Let me get that. It's in Hebrews.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 5, verse 12. For when the time ye ought to be teachers.
For the time ye ought to be teachers. Some of y'all think you can go out there and teach now. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Our enemies go out there and get cut every day. They get cut every day. Destroyed. Keep going.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
You have the need of one teaching you again. You got to be taught. You got to be taught. You got to come up in here and learn again. You have to be taught. It's because you know if you saw a few breakdowns online, don't mean you can just go out there and do it. No, no, sir. You need to be taught again. Read.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God. Read.
And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
Okay. Which be the first principles of the oracles of God. The oracles of God is these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? You got to stay in order. And you have need of milk and not of strong meat. I wouldn't give steak to a baby. Baby can't eat steak, but they can eat milk. And that's what you are like when you come in here. You're like a child. And you got to be weaned off that. You got to be weaned on that milk. You know what I mean? Where you can get to the point where you can eat meat. Because you're not going to understand every breakdown. You're not going to know everything. The worst type of brother and sister is the brother and sister that think he knows everything. Think you can do it. You got that demon in your mind thinking, oh, this is easy. I can do it. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You can't do it. And then you wonder why, you know what I mean, in every venture you fail. Because the Lord ain't with you.
Right.
Listen, if you want the Lord to be with you, you know where you got to be. You got to be right here. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, what you saying so heavy. Our people come up with all these different things and why we not doing this, why we not prospering, all these solutions that they try to have. And if you're not serving the Lord, it's not going to work. God said, I'm going to bless you if you listen to me, and I'm going to curse you if you're not listening. And part of us being cursed is that we will not prosper.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So what you bringing out is heavy. You have need to be taught while you trying to be a teacher. And that's the problem. You got Umar Johnson out here trying to teach, the school still ain't up. You got these cats and all these other, whoever is trying to teach.
School ain't never coming.
It's not raising up the people. You just teaching. And people just listening to you and giving you money.
God.
And here, people is actually being raised up. Marriages are being made. Families are being put together. You understand what I'm saying? Lives are being saved. People that would have kicked your door in or whatever, off the street, somebody that might have been into selling themselves on the street, they're not doing that. People come in here and become new people.
Absolutely, man.
You understand what I'm saying? And begin to prosper. Why? Because we're doing what God told us to do. Our community not coming together. We're not fixing kids. We're not going to fix the black economy. We're not doing none of that until we serve the Lord.
And that's what you got to do, man. You got to come up in here and serve the Lord. I remember when I was about to rock. You remember when I came in? I was young, green. Yeah, I mean, I thought I knew everything. Whew. Till I met Commanding General YAHANNA. Till I met General Mayat. Ooh-wee. Let me tell you something. Captain Paul. You were like, when you sitting there, young man James, Captain Paul used to cast the demons out of me from where I used to be right there. I used to feel like Cap was talking to me, which he was. I'd be like, man, I'm gonna come and ask Cap this question and that question, and then he go over the topic, and I'd be like, God damn, can the nigga read my mind? Like, how he know? how he know that? How he know I was struggling with this? What's going on? Ever feel like he just talking to you? He is. And I come to realize that he can read my mind, Ashtawa. And listen, and because of that, you know what I mean? Now look. And that's what brothers need. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, real quick, what you bringing out so heavy? Because I also sat in this chair.
Good.
Where a multitude of different brothers cast
Yeah.
me. And people don't understand, like, when we say you're not the truth that you hear, they don't understand. You literally come in here, and whatever demons is in your mind, a brother literally, you sitting there, hot as hell in that seat. The seat is on fire.
Oh, the seat is lava.
And you sitting there, and your spirit, and the demon's on you, got a choice. Either you get rid of the demon, or you stop coming to class.
God.
So it's a certain type of respect we got for brothers that stay in here.
God.
You understand what I'm saying? Because we know that you had to make the same decision we had.
Yeah.
Either you fight the demon, so either you're going to keep fighting this demon, or you're going to run and you're going to leave. And that's another place where fake issues like we go. People that don't want to fight the demon. You understand what I'm saying? And the process in here to become a new person is so righteous and is what our people need. Because I needed it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a much different man than when I came in here. It's like,
Listen, man, you wanted to say something, young man? Go ahead, go ahead, brother.
Before I came here, it was like so much respect and stuff that I had for guys. Like, there was a lot at home I had to deal with myself because I was smoking cigarettes, I was smoking weed, I was dealing with a lot of different women and not making it by mind. It was just like, you know what, before I got to this point to actually come to a physical class, like, I knew I couldn't come in here with who I was out there. So it was for me, it was just like, I gotta give up a lot before I even bring myself to come in here. I feel like that's what actually took me so long to actually come in here.
No, I understand, brother. I was the same way. And I'm gonna tell you something. Speaking on that personally, that's a demon you gotta overcome. And I'm glad you're here, man. Get a brother a hand. Let me tell you something. That is hard to do. I'll tell you a story. I.S.U.P.K, what's the last precept? 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. When I was a young man, me and my best friend, he told me a week prior, we going to class. I was like, cool. Day of class, I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm making every excuse in my head. I'm like, I ain't got clean socks. I'm saying crazy shit to myself. Like, bro, I had to look myself in the mirror like, yo, how come I don't want to go?
right.
I'll never forget. I walked through them doors, man. All of a sudden, Malakia, it was on Shamar, pat me down. I was like, all right, brothers checking brothers, you know what I mean? Making sure we don't come in here with the way I mean. I come in, Jeremiah Y.A.H.N.Na was sitting right there, looked me up and down, gave me the head nod. I ain't know, listen, he looked familiar, but I ain't realized, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, this brother looked familiar. Now I realized he was the one that made the top hat brother cry. It hit me a little later when I got home. I was like, yo, that was that brother. And right where you sitting, man, I sat next to Priest and Officer YAHANNA, man. I sat right next to Priest and Officer YAHANNA. May he rise again. That was a hardcore brother, man. One West to death. One West to death. And Jeremiah Y.A.H.N.Na sat here teaching, man, and was casting my demons out. He was like, because before I came to class, I stopped smoking weed 2 months prior. He was like, can't smoke weed. I was like, yeah, I don't smoke no more. All right, okay. I'm like, he's like, no heathen women, no white girls, none of that. I'm like, all right. So you can have multiple wives, but you can't be a whoremonger. You can't go out there and sleep with a sister, marry her, and then throw her away. I'm like, all right, I'm cool. That's perfect. Man, and I'm looking at my homie. I'm looking at him. He's sitting there like the demons jumped off of me and jumped on him. The last straw is when Jeremiah Y.A.H.N.Na was like, he's like, no tuna. He shouted out in class, damn. Nigga never came back. But you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. And that was the day after the 50th Passover in 2019, I.S.U.P.K. And I realized something, man. Like, that was a demon I had to overcome. And that brother came and picked me up. You know what I mean? We both came to class. And I realized, like, damn, man, like, he ain't here. I hope he come back. I pray he do. But you know what I mean? And what was so heavy after class, man, a brother reached out to me. Big shout out to Priest and Officer 1000 Barzal Rakab. Barzal hit me up on Twitter. The next day after class and was like, the Lord calling you home, brother. Keep coming. Stay strong. Keep coming to class. And brother, I kept coming to class. And now I sit here before you now. Listen, man, you got to keep fighting that, brother. Keep coming to class. Keep coming to class. You out there training, right?
No, I keep on top of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Listen, man, keep coming to class, brother. Keep coming to class. Stay strong. Stay strong, man. Stay strong in this truth because it ain't nothing out there in the world. There is nothing out there. They want you to get high. They want you to be a brother that'll unalive your brother. They want you to be a whoremonger. We greater than that. Go ahead, Ashton. Go ahead, brother.
I felt like even before, like I said, my first exercise, like at home, I watched a lot of your videos. Like I attend a lot of classes.
Oh, son of Christ.
You had said something like, learning this will split you from who you were before, and I kind of feel that shift with me and my friends, and sometimes with me and my family. So in a sense, like I know I'm getting better at what I'm doing because it's splitting me apart from what I really used to like to do to what I like now.
Listen, brother, that happens. Scripture said, Christ said that he called, you know what I mean, to put a man at variance, you know what I mean, against his father, against his mother. You know what I mean? Your family and your friends, they're going to see that change in you. You know what I mean? They're going to see that change. And they're going to try to pull you back into the world. You got to stay strong, man. You have to stay strong in that. And this scripture that we're getting ready to go into, man, is going to, go deep into it. Go ahead. You was gonna say something else, and then read the scripture. We gotta wrap it up.
Real quick, if I could, you know what I'm saying? That definitely for anybody watching class, tuning in, you know what I'm saying, and for everybody, you know what I'm saying? That demon wants you isolated. You understand what I'm saying? They want you by yourself, which is what make you not want to come to class physically. But the Bible also said there's a shame that brings glory. So for a brother to sit at home and watch us through the stream, and then stop smoking cigarettes, and, you know what I'm saying? Stop dealing with women.
Most time, Christ.
Stop smoking weed. You are already in the spirit where you need to be battling them things. So that's still a good thing.
That's an amazing thing, brother.
Right, that you coming into class, and even the separation of your friends and your family is natural. And Christ had to do that with his own family.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? His
Oh
mom
man, they came looking for him, man.
And he said, "Who is my mother and who is my brother?" And his mom and brother was outside. He said, "Y'all are my family in here." You understand what I'm saying? Why? Because we have a job to do. And the change is going to be so good in your life. You're going to see how you deal with women and brothers and life so much differently. Your eyes just going to keep opening up to where you deal with situations differently as a brother in the truth. You're going to really be able to possess real wisdom, man. Like the Bible says, the wisdom of this world is foolishness, man. And you're going to see that. The stuff that you did before compared to what you're doing now, like your purpose now, is foolishness.
Go ahead, Ash. Read the scripture.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. Thou, therefore, endure hardness.
Endure hardness, man. You got to endure hardness. You're going to come up in here. The scripture also says in Ecclesiastes, prepare thyself for temptation. You have to endure. You have to endure, man. You got to prepare yourself. You coming up in here, now that you in, it's something that Captain Ahmad used to always say to me. Now that you in class, now that you coming around, now that you're really taking it seriously, you out of Satan's hands. And Satan is about to work 10 times harder to get you back in the palm of his hand. That's why you have to endure hardness. It's going to get rough. You're going to have that pool. They're going to want you to celebrate birthdays. They're going to want you to celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. Damn all that, man. Endure hardness. Read.
As a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
As a good soldier of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Be a good soldier of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, man. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Got to endure that hardness. And trust me, the reward is going to be amazing, brother. It's going to be amazing. Like what we doing, we don't do it for show. We don't do it for all that. We do it, you know what I mean, because we love our people. We love that Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Fighting and striving, building Christ's kingdom right here, man. Building Christ's kingdom. But we fight the rule under Christ. Part of that 144, man. That's what you got to strive for. Endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. If you want to be a soldier, rock that all black, man. Keep coming to class, man. Keep coming to class and endure. No matter what goes on, no matter what Esau, what Satan throw at you, endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. With that being said, man, I'm preaching officer of 5,000 Yadai. This is the Thursday night history class, man. You know what I mean? The water for everybody. Thank you for everybody that joined us, man. We're going to be back next week with it, next Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. With that being said, I'm going to pass the class off to priest and officer Oscar Watt.